Good evening. It is Wednesday, September 21st, and this is Raven Dana. Welcome to Walking Between the Worlds. This is class number 3 in this series, How to Navigate the Between. And by the way, happy equinox to you. And I'm so glad that fall is just around the corner. If you're one of those people that adore summer, I'm sorry. I'm a fall girl, so see if you can at least be happy for me, if not for yourself. Okay, how to navigate the between, class 3. We covered two other ways. We talked about the dream gate, right? And we talked about the imagination gate. And today, we're going to talk about the meditation gate. And what I mean by that is not just sitting down to formal meditation. By the meditation gate, I mean any practice that allows you to move your awareness, to shift the way your brain is, the frequency of your brain. So you can move down deeper into that liminal space. In other words, that place that we end up in right before we go to sleep and right after we wake, the liminal space. Also termed the hypnagogic space. So it is common to continue to see dream-like images in that space. Now, what we're talking about when I talk to you today about the meditation gate, I'm talking about any practice that allows you to be both grounded in your body in the moment and that kicks open the door to that twilight zone arena in your deeper processing center that's free from the constraints of linear time and free from the constant busy analysis and illusion of control that the ego mind tries to exert, right? So when we're in a very deep place, meditation is the perfect example. However, we can also get to that space in a number of other ways. We can arrive at that between zone, the twilight zone, through shamanic drumming. We can get there through chanting and through listening to chanting. I find that's particularly true if I'm listening to a chant that's in a different language. If sometimes I get hung up on the words if I'm listening to a chant that's in English. But whatever works for you. Although, and now having said that, I can sing. I can pick a phrase and sing the chant over and over and over again until I do enter the space. And I begin hearing myself singing as if someone else is singing. And I can go very deep into that zone and have whatever experience. So having said that, it is possible. If I'm listening to someone that's not me singing, I prefer to listen to a different language. Okay. You can also, if you've never tried trance dancing, again, it's not as out there and wiggy as it sounds. It's basically dancing for a very long time, starting with the music kind of low and slow until it progresses and progresses, and it gets pretty fast and stays at this pace where your body is warmed up and free, and you're just swaying and moving and twirling, and in that ecstatic state, it is very common, again, to open those gates and to have experiences, to have contact with your guides, or a message from someone that has passed, or to have a brilliant experience of a non-human entity or a conscious light. So there are all kinds of ways to have experiences. There are all kinds of experiences to have, because when that gate is open and we're not trapped in linear time, we can shuffle, we can shuffle through the dimensions, like shuffling a deck of cards, and see where we land, see what happens next. Another way to arrive at that gateway, to get into the between, is guided imagery. That's another way to get there, and we do a lot of that in this class. I always end with some kind of guided imagery, but that can be a jumping off point for you. You can start with some guided imagery and then allow the experience to continue beyond the given images and see what happens. See at what point it shifts and becomes more of a dream in its own right. Not that you are directing it, but that the experience continues on. And there's a little bit of a trick in there, is to noticing that when you're not feeding the information, when you're not creating the images, anymore, but the images are still blooming and the experience is still happening. To be able to stay with it, to stay in that moment, not to distract yourself, not to scare yourself. And if you do, it's okay. You can take a few breaths and come back and re-enter the experience, because it's just a matter of getting your brain quiet again so that you're operating at that deeper, slower, that more open door frequency, to where all experience and all time passes through. All right. Now, we often refer to the meditative state and some of these other states of mind, like Sufi dancers that whirl, and in their whirling they have ecstatic experiences. We refer to those states commonly as altered states, but what I want you to get is that the common state, the waking state, that's the altered state. When the being that we are is being constrained and limited by all these constructs and beliefs and boxes, when we're only seeing and experiencing this extraordinarily limited array of three-dimensional experiences, that is an altered state. That's a very limited state. Even on an ordinary day, we're capable of experiencing more than we generally do, because the filters that run our lives even keep us from seeing things in our regular reality, right? In our ordinary, busy-minded, ego-driven lives. We still don't see what we can see because we let certain other things, we let distractions get in our way. So I just want you to get that when you're practicing this, when you're practicing navigating in the between, this is more our true state of awareness. It's to be able to have one foot in ordinary reality, what we consider to be typical waking reality, and one foot in the between. So, you can chew gum and walk down the street at the same time. You can be having a conversation with somebody and have an experience of what might be wrong physically with their body. You can be writing, doing something, and suddenly have an experience of another person at a distance, because those gates have opened and you've tuned in. Now, of course, you can do that deliberately, and for our purposes, that's what I'm going to suggest. Because as you walk through the world with greater and greater skill, what you really need is a regular practice that gets you into that zone, that gets that gate or that door open for you. And so you want to try a number of different things. And you want to try those things more than once to see how it works for you, to see how comfortable you are, to see how quickly you get down into that liminal zone, right? And again, it's that idea of staying grounded while opening up that back channel to the other worlds. Like, that's your ticket to navigating the between, is to be here and there at the same time. We all know how to do this. We can all drive and talk on the phone at the same time, all right? So it's not as tricky as it sounds at first, okay? Now, because the language of the deep worlds is image, largely image and emotion, we often get drawn toward strong emotions, vivid images, things that have a content that has some sort of emotional context for us. So it's, when we kind of go freewheeling into the between, we can end up anywhere. So my suggestion is that for practicing, you set an intention. So you have like a thread, an energetic thread, a direction that you're heading somewhere, or you're looking for a particular experience, and you're allowing that particular path or gate or channel to open. So again, there's all kinds of things that you can do. If you have something going on in your body, you can go inside yourself and ask the question, what do I need to see to speed my healing? You can go in and ask the question, what am I doing to contribute to this dis-ease? You can do that for another person, right? You can see what happens for you, see what your skill level is there. You can travel into your own past. You can set a target as some experience in your own childhood that was unpleasant, some experience where you wished you had had support, and you can go back as the person you are today, enter that scene and talk to your younger self. You can tell your younger self that things are going to work out. You can tell your younger self to relax, that you're there now, that you're going to support. You're going to support this process of change and growth, that you're going to offer your kindness and your love in place of whatever you didn't get at the time, right? Now, you would be surprised when you really play with this, when you get pretty good at going places here and there, you can stumble upon some things in your past where you make significant changes in your awareness, where you trip on something that you didn't even know was in there or bothering you or blocking you, and you can be led back to a place in time where you literally recover and bring back to the present some of your energy that was lost in the past, trapped in the past, in a loop in the past, right? So some people call that soul retrieval. And it is a very real thing, and doing practices like that can help you to open up your creativity and to get over long-standing patterns and habits that you've struggled with that you haven't known how to break. So again, go with the flow. You can also travel into the future. You can travel into alternate timelines. What if I hadn't married so-and-so, or what if I ran off with that guy I met in college? Well, you can, again, it's a multiple timeline. You can do that exploration, find that gate, and examine that life. See what might have happened. Go into that reality and experience a little bit of it, and notice what you notice and see how you feel. All right. So again, it's endless. It's limitless, rather than what we experience in the what we call the normal waking consciousness, which has a lot of constraints. When we navigate the between, we can even set an intention. Well, I would like to visit a non-human being, and I would like to have a guide or a guardian, or, a dead friend, an angel. I'd like to have some protection there. I'd like to have somebody there that if I get scared, I can turn to that other person or being or creature or whatever it is. So again, you can set the intention and you can set the parameters. So you can have experiences and visits that don't take you over, that don't throw you for a loop, that don't make you feel like you're on a scary ride. You can. It's all about you setting the intention and keeping one foot here and fully flowing with the energy wherever it's taking you. Okay, it's practice. Another thing is that the more we do these kinds of journeys and traveling in the between, our abilities, our psychic skills in our waking life increase. We have more synchronicities. We have more experiences of knowing what's coming. We have more, how can I say this? Our signal system gets cleaned up a bit. So there's less noise to signal ratio, and we receive messages from the deep mind, from the past and from the future and from other places. We receive messages with greater clarity, which might just be as simple as heading out to the store and all of a sudden having a pretty strong urge to turn right and not go the way you normally go. And so you do, because you're listening. And then you discover that, down the street where you normally go, well, there was a big accident and it was all blocked off, or there was a water main break and you couldn't get through. So these are the kinds of things that when you listen, you will have these clues that are less subtle than they were before. There'll be more physical feelings and urges and deeper sensations, because you're giving yourself over. You're not trying to control it with your mind or make meaning out of it with your mind or analyze it. You're paying attention. So you're listening and you're responding. All right. So that's important as we play with these practices. One thing that we are going to do today is we're going to do a journey practice where I'm going to pick up an object. We're going to do it 3 times, so you're going to get to play, do a little bit of journey play. I'm going to invite you to journey into my room right here, to journey into my space, and to see what I'm holding in my hand. So we'll do it 3 times, and at the end we'll only spend a couple minutes on each time, so it's not going to be long or boring or difficult. And after each one of those 3 things, I'll hold up the object so you see what it is. And as we journey, so what I'd like you to remember for your practice of journeying between the worlds, I'm going to give you these 3 tips. Don't try to make sense out of the images and information coming through at first. Don't try to make it make sense. Observe what you observe and record it. Observe and record, right? In as much detail as you can. The second tip I want to give you is to stay with the images and let yourself enter as deeply as you can go. In other words, don't second guess, don't let your mind distract you. If your mind starts saying, oh, I think I'm just making this up, notice it, go, okay, yeah, I hear you, and set that aside. If your mind starts saying to you, oh, I think it's about this place over here, go, yeah, okay, and set that aside and come back to whatever the image is that's occurring, all right? Set aside your thoughts and your doubts and your assumptions and your assessments and just get the information as it is, because it will definitely make a difference in you being able to decode it, understand it, roll with it later on. Okay, the third tip is that when you close that gate, when you come back from your journey, to sit quietly for a little while with your experience after you've written it up. And that's the point where you look at what you've written and you can just free associate. On the side of the page, you can write down anything that makes you think of, anybody that makes you think of, any experience that comes back to you. And again, please don't try to make it make sense. Just write it down. Memories, thoughts, dreams, questions that come up, because you can go back into a journey with a question. You can have an experience and you can go back in and say, and bring a question with you and ask somebody in that experience the question and get an answer. All right, so anyway, so this space that we're talking about, the liminal space, the twilight zone, this is the place that throughout history, mystics, shaman, artists, healers, poets, this is the place, this is the frequency of the muse, the frequency of healers, the frequency of the spirits from the between, of earth energies, of the essences that we know exist, but in our busy daily lives frequently disregard or ignore or pretend aren't there, even when we do feel them. So that space again is the way to allow the information and energy to rise from the between is to recognize that you're here and you're safe and you're grounded, and still allow the gate to be open for the deeper level of experience. I call to mind the healing temple of Asclepius, right? The healing temple, the medical symbol of the staff with the caduceus, right? The staff with the twined serpents, right? So when people went into the healing temple, it was also called the dreamer's temple, but it's not because most of the people went in and fell asleep and had a dream, although sometimes that did happen. Most of the experiences actually occurred in a lucid dreaming state, in this kind of liminal waking state. So they would prepare, they'd have a certain kind of bath, and they'd be anointed with oils, or they'd be cleared with salt, or whatever the practice was. There would be a purification, and then there'd be this place inside the cave where they'd go, or in the temple where they'd go into a period of silence with certain rituals or practices, and then they'd be quiet and the experience would come upon them, and they would receive often a vision of the great healer, and often not in the form of a human, but often in the form of an animal or a guide or a serpent. So again, the serpent is a symbol of the medical profession of healing. We don't think twice about that, even though we see it on every ambulance. So if you've got any hitch in your system about serpents being evil or bad or wrong or blah, 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 now's the time to jettison that bullshit, because it is bullshit, okay? So if you see a snake in your imagery, just be with it. You don't make it mean something. It could very well be a visit from the ancient healing energies, just special for you. So just be with whatever's there. Okay. So the body believes the images. So you don't have to work to translate what you get into something linear that your mind understands. You don't have to worry about that, okay? So with that, let's play a little bit. We're going to do these 3 rounds of, I'm going to hold something in my hand, and we'll use a couple breaths, and I'm going to invite you into my space. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this 10 hours or 3 days after I do it, because time is fluid and it's meaningless, and you'll have a result as if you were doing it right here in the moment as I'm doing it. It doesn't matter. All right. So you can see my environment. You can see the room behind me. You know, I'm sitting at a desk. I'll move my head out of the way. You can see a bit of the universe back there. And so just look at the environment. Take a few breaths and close your eyes. And as you breathe, allow yourself to soften and relax. Imagine that there's a door in front of you and that it opens. And there's a short hallway. And you can walk easily down that hallway. And you walk into a room that has teal blue walls. And you can see me sitting at a desk. And in my hand, there's an object. And I'm rubbing my thumb on that object. So I'm going to hand it to you. I'm placing it in your palm. Notice its color. Notice its weight. Notice its texture. And notice any images or symbols that pop up into your mind because of it. And if there's nothing, that's okay. Don't struggle. Hand it back to me now and keep looking at it. I'm going to turn it around in my hand so you can see all sides of it. All right, good. Now close your eyes. And if you see something again now, when you've closed your eyes in my space, that's good. That's fine. And turn, walking back down that little hallway, bringing yourself back through into your own space, into your body, into your awareness. Taking a breath, you allow your eyes to open. And you take another breath or two to see if there's anything there or anything else there. Sometimes when you're not trying at all, the images come and they just show up. So don't discount anything. All right, now I'm going to show you the first object I had. It's a little tiny brain. It's a brain. You see it? It's yellow brain. Look, very brain-like. That's what the bottom looks like. All right. So if you got oval, yellow, bumpy, intelligent, 2 parts, I mean, whatever you got, if you got any hits at all, anything that has anything to do, anything that makes sense when you now look at this object, you'll see more what I'm talking about. It's not likely that you're going to suddenly get brain, although some of you might have, but it is likely that you'll at least get, oh, bumpy or yellow or oval or, right, something, or walnut-like, right? It is kind of walnut-like. So there's our first experiment, and it's kind of fun. And don't worry if you didn't get anything at all. It's fine. Like, it's perfectly fine. This stuff takes practice. We're going to do it 2 more times just to play. Okay. Second object. Okay. Bring your attention back to your breath. Close your eyes. Hold me and this space in your mind's eye. And breathe. Feel your body soften and relax. Imagine a door. Walk through the door, down the short hallway, and into my space. Notice me sitting at the desk. And I have an object in my hand. And I'm holding it flat in the palm of my hand. And I'm running my thumb along it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling all sides of it. Now I'm going to hand you the object and put it in your palm so you can feel it. What color is it? How heavy is it? What might it be made out of? Is it soft or hard? Is it flat or round? Or some other shape entirely? Just run your fingers along it and look at it closely. And it's okay if you can't really see it. It's okay if you get little flashes of something. You can't do this wrong. Just see what you get. All right, hand it back to me. Notice any images that you have, anything that might pop up, any associations that might show up for you. And then turn. See that doorway, go back through. Bye. Thanks for visiting. Go on back into your own space, into your own body, into your own breath pattern. Breathe yourself back into the moment and open your eyes, giving yourself another moment to see if there's anything that pops up, any associations, any quick thoughts. All right, here's the second object. It is a little Jack Skellington. You see it? Little Jack Skellington. So the little Jack Skellington flat on the bottom, right? Kind of tall and thin, and it's metallic, right? It's metallic. So again, there's lots of things you might have gotten. You might have thought of a skull, or you might have thought of something tall and skinny like a needle, or you might have thought of it's a little scrap of metal, or you might have got something striped, or you might have picked up somebody with their arms crossed, or there's any number of things you might have noticed about this little figure. And again, none of it's wrong. You're not going to suddenly, it's very rare that you're going to go, oh, it's Jack Skellington. No, you're going to get some kind of sense of the object. Okay, great. We're going to play one more time, just one more. And then we'll switch it up. Then we'll do something different. Okay. So one more time. We're going to do it even faster this time because we don't have to dwell. Your mind doesn't have to get in on the act here. All right, great. So take a few breaths. Notice my environment. Notice me sitting at the desk, and close your eyes. See the doorway. Walk through that doorway. Take a few steps down the short hallway and enter my office space. See me sitting at the desk and notice that I'm holding a small object in my hand. And I'm feeling that object. I'm running my thumb along it. I'm holding it in my palm. I notice it and I hand it to you. And you get to feel it and run your fingers along it. You get a sense of how big it is, how heavy it is, what it's made out of, what its shape might be. You get a feeling for the texture. Is it round or pointy or smooth or rough? Is one end like the other? Is it bigger than the other objects were? Is it smaller? How does it feel to you? Okay, great. Hand it back to me. And notice anything that pops up right now as you do. Thanks for visiting. Turn. Go back out, down the hallway, through the door. Back into your own breathing pattern, into your own space, into your own body. Open your eyes. If you have any instant thoughts or images about what the object was, just notice it. And now I'll hold this one up for you to see. It is a teeny tiny brass pine cone. It's a brass pine cone. See it? So that is what I was holding in my palm, and it has a little loop on the end so that you can turn it into a necklace. You can hang it. So that was so anything, again, anything, you know, a pineapple, a pine cone, a pine tree, you know, the feeling of all of those grooves, small and metallic, even the sound it makes, you know, kind of like a jack when you drop it. So you might, if you got any of that, right, you're helping yourself be here and there at the same time. It's a simple practice. It's a good, playful practice, and it's something that you can do with a friend, or you know, even with me online. We can set a time and do a practice, maybe at noon every day. I'll hold an object, and then I'll let you know what it was after a couple of days. It could be kind of fun. Anyway, another way to enter the deep zone is through sound. Now, I've played with drums in this space, and it's just really loud. So I haven't managed to work a drum into the meditative space here with you where I feel like it's going to work for us. I think it's going to be too much. But having said that, instead of a drum, I'm going to just give you a simple phrase. And it's a song you all know. You've sung it since you were probably 4 years old. It's just row, row, row your boat. But it's something that you can repetitively do, that you don't have to think about, and that we can give a very simple and directed intention to. So I'm going to sing it. You can sing along or you can listen. I'm going to do it just about 6 or 7 times, just long enough for you to sail out, right? So here's our intention. Our intention is to go down to the dock, to get on the little boat, and to row across the river. That's all we're going to do. And it can be a river that you know. It can be the river Styx. It can be a stream that you once visited. It can be anything that you choose it to be. All right? So we're just going to have the experience of using the song to give us a little bit of momentum and speed to get us to the dock and in the boat. Then you're going to, once you're on the boat, I'm going to encourage you to just let the experience be whatever it is. Get yourself down there and then let go and see if there's anyone on the boat with you. See what's on the other side. Notice how you feel. All right, we're going to spend just a couple minutes doing this. And when we come back, go ahead and take a few notes. If if you have something to record, then go ahead and record it. All right, so relax. Close your eyes. And again, you can sing along or just listen, whatever works for you. You can even tune me out and just put your attention on your breath. We're going to set the intention of going to the river, getting on a boat, seeing where it takes us. All right, relax, eyes closed, breathe, feel your body let go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now we'll come back. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Breathe your way back into the moment, into your body. Bringing back with you any images, thoughts, feelings of your little trip. Breathe yourself fully back into the moment and open your eyes. And write down anything that you noticed on your little trip. Okay, so as always, we are going to end with a little bit of a visualization because, of course, it's another way to get out into the between. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuffy today. I'm not at my best self because I'm trying to breathe and talk at the same time, and it's not always working out for me. So we're going to do a little bit of a shorter visualization today, but it's a short enough one that you can remember it and repeat it for yourself as a jumping off point, right? As a little bit of guided imagery that will take you to a gate, and then that gate can take you beyond into the between wherever you'd like to go. So the intention that I'm going to set for this journey for us is that we pass through a gate that gives us whatever information is most useful, most healing, most beneficial for us and those we love at this particular moment. So whatever it is, I don't know what it is, you don't know what it is, could be anything about anything, but the intention is that we're able to access some information that's useful to us or those someone we love, and be able to bring it back. So I don't know how it'll work. I don't know if you'll see someone or if you'll have a different kind of experience or if you'll meet a guide or guardian, or I don't know. So we're going to leave that up to your travel in the between. And what I'm going to do is take you to the gate and through the gate, and then be quiet for a few breaths so that you have your experience, and then I'll bring you back. Okay? All right. Get comfortable and close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. And as you breathe, relax down deep into the sensations of breathing. May all our doors and gates and paths be open, and all our doors and gates and paths between the worlds, and may they be closed to any who would harm us or those we love. We seek a gate of information to bring some energy, intelligence, and wisdom into our lives for our greater good right now. And as you breathe and relax, images begin to rise around you, and you see a beautiful garden gate. The gate is partially open, and you can see a grove of trees. You can see the low sun, red on the horizon, almost ready to set. And you walk to that gate and slowly begin to push it open. And suddenly someone's there, a gatekeeper. And that gatekeeper holds out a hand. And you remember you've brought exactly the right tool with you. The gift for the gatekeeper is in your pocket. So you dig around and find whatever it is, look at it, and place it in the gatekeeper's hand. You get a smile and a pat on the back, and the gate opens fully, and you are encouraged to enter. You see that from this place there are paths going in different directions, and you just stand quietly and notice which path seems to call to you the most. And you begin walking down that path, noticing your surroundings, noticing the sound of your feet on the path, noticing the scent in the air and the way the light falls, noticing the sound of breeze in the treetops. You walk down this path to exactly the place and exactly the experience you need at this moment. The place is familiar to you. And you are able to easily access the information that you've come to find. And it doesn't matter how it arrives. If there are any people or beings there, acknowledge them and thank them. If you see symbols or are given words or have feelings or ideas, whatever there is for you, notice it to bring back. You notice that you feel light and free. You notice that this information, this energy, makes you feel more relaxed. You feel excited to return. And so you start back down the path. And you see the gate a bit in the distance. You didn't realize how far you traveled. But you feel so light and free that it's as if the wind is blowing you forward on the path, and you're half floating, half walking, returning to that gate, giving a nod to the gatekeeper who gives you a smile. You hear the gate creak open, and you're given passage back into the moment, into your body, into the room in which you rest. And you take a slow, deep breath and return fully, opening your eyes and bringing back exactly what you need in this moment. All right. Please play with these techniques this week. And if you want to reach out to me or contact me to find some deeper ways to play, or to engage me in a, an exercise with you, I'm happy to do that. You know how to find me. Raven@stresswizardcoaching.com is my email. You can find me through my website, ravendana.com. I'm pretty easy to find. No matter how you cut the cheese, I'm pretty easy to find. So thank you so much for taking this class, and I hope that you got some good and useful clues for how to navigate the between. And there are plenty of things that you can do to enhance your experience. You can read some books, you can take a class, you can learn a skill, you can investigate a CRV, controlled remote viewing. You can investigate some healing practices that give you a little bit deeper insight into body awareness. You can start writing again the way you would normally have a dream and write it down. You can spend some time every day journeying with drumming sounds or with chanting. I really like shamanic drumming. I like to drum myself, usually, rather than listen to a drum. I love the sound of African drums. They'll generally send me into a very deep space. Another thing that I really enjoy is Deva Premal. She does chants, and it's Sanskrit. It's very ancient chants, and she has a beautiful, beautiful voice, and the chanting is another way that I find I can go very, very deep. So she's easy to find online, Deva, D-E-V-A, Premal, P-R-E-M-A-L. You can, again, check out CRV. My friend Colleen Moranek, she actually teaches controlled remote viewing, and you can find her online. If you're interested, again, in more information about any of these things, leave me a message on the YouTube channel, and I will get information back to you. And please play and practice. And if anything stumps you or you have a question, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help you to answer that question. Enjoy the awakening of navigating between the worlds, and have a really wonderful equinox. I hope to see you in the between soon. Good night now.